You came here to find out whether O'Reilly subscription is worth it despite its hefty annual fee. I'm gonna preface this video by saying that it is not sponsored by O'Reilly and it is just my personal opinion. If you're short on time and trying to make a decision quickly, I'm just going to say it. I think O'Reilly Media subscription is worth it. But watch until the end of the video to find out how to get it cheaper or possibly even for free. For the last few years, I've consistently renewed it, and let me show you why. Here we're on the O'Reilly website on their homepage. I rarely even visit this page. I usually just go and sign in and do my own thing, but let me show you how much it costs. If you click on this Individuals tab, it's gonna tell you that you can sign up for 10 days free trial, so you can figure out whether it's worth it or not for yourself. From the same page, you can click on Become a Member Now and see what kinds of plans they have. And you can either pay $49 a month, you can also pay $129 every 3 months, or the cheapest way to do it is just to pay it annually, and it's gonna cost you $499 a year. I've already done that. I've paid for the annual subscription, but spoiler alert, I did not pay $499. I'm gonna click sign in and show you what it gives you before we find out how to get it for cheaper or even free. I'm just gonna log in with my account details, and it brings us to the homepage of your profile. Here you can see different suggestions first. It tells you possibly the live courses you're registered for or that you may want to check out, a book that it thinks would benefit you in some way, and a lab that it thinks may be benefiting you, though I don't quite know why it's suggesting me Python. Maybe I clicked on it for some reason before and then just here. Then you have your O'Reilly history, your playlists, your live events, and my favorite part is your highlights. Whenever you go to a book, for example, let's go to this book I've been reading, Software Architecture, the hard parts. Here from the highlights, it's just gonna show you the highlights from all of the books that you've ever highlighted, and then you can export them. For example, if you decide to not renew the subscription but still want to have access to some of the notes, then you can do it from here. But let's go to the actual book. Here we go back to history, we click architecture, software architecture, the hard parts. First of all, it's just a book, but if you select something, it gives you more options. Obviously, you can copy it, then you can highlight, which will make this show up in the highlights section I just showed you. Then you can also add a note, possibly your own explanation of how you understand the problem, and then you can get a link to this specific section if you want to share it with somebody. The only thing I ever use here is the highlight feature. If you click on this button that says get the answers you need, it's gonna give you a prompt and it will allow you to ask the questions about the book or the section that you're reading, where maybe potentially you're not quite understanding something and want to get a better understanding of it. Or maybe you just want to summarize it. Let's check out how it works. Can you summarize what are transactional sagas for me? And then just like any AI, it's gonna take some time and give you the answer after that. It tells you that it's a pattern that involves multiple services or bounded contexts. It explains what it is, how it fits with distributed transactions, how you can implement it in the event-driven architecture, even gives you some pseudocode, and sources it used to answer your question. Potentially, you can even ask it to quiz you on what you just read, but let's just move on. If you click right here, you'll be displayed with the contents of the book, with every chapter and every section of every chapter, so you can freely move across the book without having to read it from start to finish. It's really helpful when you're just trying to learn a particular topic where you don't necessarily need the whole book. You just need maybe a chapter or maybe a section of the chapter to get a better understanding of what you're trying to learn. And then here we got the highlights again just for this specific book, and you can sort them by chapter or by date. Never used this section ever from this view, but it's an option. You can also add this book to the playlist or schedule a learning reminder. And obviously there is a search, so you can search for whatever. I think you can just get away with the answers, and it might be more helpful unless you're trying to search for specific sequence of words in the book and find the section that contains it. But O'Reilly Media is not just about books. Let's go to the Start Learning button and see the other things it offers. As you can see, we can register for live events, which not only we can register for those, we can also see our recordings. If we go here, we can choose something that interests us, register for it. The beauty of it is that even if you don't attend the live session, then you will still have access to the recording. And that's how I attend most of these live events. I don't have 4 hours to spend during the workday on a Monday or a Wednesday at 9 a.m. to go and watch somebody explain something to me. I usually just skip it, get the recording, and watch it in 2x speed, and then possibly even skip through some sections. So let me show you. This one, Modern Java Exception Handling, tells you what it's about, and then you can view the video. There are a lot of things going on here. It can actually take a while to figure out what you need to pay attention to. Here would be your media player. That's where the author's screen would be, where the author would maybe switch between the screen sharing and his face or her face. Then here you got the slides. Usually they have a presentation they go through, and here you will be able to see the section they're explaining right now. You can ask a question, and also you can chat with others. Obviously, once you're watching the recording, it's quite pointless to ask a question or chat with somebody. Here you also have access to all the resources that the author provided for easy access, so you don't have to download the presentation. You can just click on it from here and maybe clone the repository and follow along. What I don't like about this media player is that I cannot go to a certain second or certain minute or certain frame. It only lets me go through like every 2 or 3 minutes. And that part I find really annoying. That's one of the cons of O'Reilly, but that's not a deal breaker. You just either have to watch a couple extra minutes, maybe just use the 2x speed, or just start the section later. That's it about the live events. And they have them, maybe not every day, but every week for sure. Somebody is presenting something. If you're one of the types of people who learns best by somebody being present there and being able to answer your questions right away, this is a great way to learn. If we go back to Start Learning, we also get access to interactive learning. What does that mean? That means you get access to labs and sandboxes. And those two are almost the same, but not quite. With sandboxes, you can start an environment here on the web where you just want to explore certain things. For example, if you're learning TypeScript and don't want to install all the crap that comes with it on your local machine, then you just start this sandbox and just do it here. Click on TypeScript Sandbox, click Start, and it tells you how to get started with it, but that's it. Then you're free to do whatever. It gives you access to the terminal and access to VS Code in the browser. It will have more limited functionality from what you would have had if you used it on your local machine, but if you're just learning how to use TypeScript, this is plenty. We also have access to labs, and labs are a bit different from sandboxes. With sandboxes, you're mostly on your own. It's more when you just want to explore something without anybody holding your hand, basically. With the labs, it's kind of self-explanatory. For example, your first Git repository. Let's open this. Again, we can click Start, and it gives you some instructions to follow. And then you follow the instructions, you click Finish, and then you move on to possibly the next lab from the same topic. Then you got courses. And if you're on the courses page for the first time, it's gonna ask you, how can we customize it so it's better for you? And you can choose to learn by role, build your skills, or you can view all the courses. Go explore these two options on your own if you want during your trial. I'm gonna show all the courses, and there are a bunch of them. It works basically the same way as any other course platform. For example, we click here on Code Like a Pro in C# Video Edition, and looks like this is actually just a book as a video course, but they have a bunch of other courses as well. To begin, you just click Begin, and as I said, it's gonna look like any other courses platform where somebody's gonna show you something on the video in small sections, and then you're just gonna move on through all the sections. And again, you can either add it to the playlist or schedule a learning reminder, ask questions, or view the table of content. Basically the same thing as with books. In addition to just courses, they also have a section that's called certifications. If you are preparing to become, for example, AWS Certified Solutions Architect, then you just select this course and it's gonna list all the things that might be helpful for you in preparation for this exam. In addition to that, you can also take a practice test. And I think this is one of the best ways to learn. A long time ago, whenever I was getting my CompTIA Plus or Azure 900, I had to pay for these preparations in addition to the exam costs. So usually it would be another $300 or so to get access to those prep materials. Well, here it's already included with your annual subscription to O'Reilly, so you don't have to pay anything extra, and you can go prepare for as many certifications as you possibly can. Whether they're worth it or not, that's a different question. Usually, even if the certifications themselves aren't worth it, it's still a good proof that you know your stuff and you know what you're talking about. That's it about certifications. We've already gone through books. Just one addition to what I've said about books before. Well, first of all, we also have the same filters. So if you don't know what to read, just figure out the skill you want to learn, go through the filters, and go from there. O'Reilly has a huge number of books. It's 50,000. Yes, they have some that are not great, but mostly I found personally, some people may have different opinions, is that the ones published by O'Reilly or Manning typically have better quality. I'll also tell you that there has only ever been one or two books that I haven't been able to find on O'Reilly, but I just moved on and I'm still alive. This is a great library, and given the price of tech books, it's actually not that expensive to pay for this annually. In addition to regular books, you get access to audiobooks. I don't know who is so crazy to listen to tech audiobooks, but that's an option for you. I can hear the question coming, will it work on mobile? The answer is yes. I almost mentioned mobile experience as a con, but then I went to check and looks like they fixed their audio player. It used to be that whenever you minimized O'Reilly app, then your audiobook would just stop. It felt like YouTube without the YouTube Premium subscription. Luckily, they fixed it, and now you're able to take your O'Reilly mobile app on a walk and listen to this audiobooks talking about code. I don't know if you're into it, but that's an option. Books on mobile look great as well, for the most part. The most annoying thing I found about reading these tech books on mobile is that when there is a code section, not all the code is displayed, and sometimes it would let you move your screen to the right just for that section to view the full code, and sometimes it doesn't. The workaround to that is just to flip your screen to whatever this mode is, where it's like longer. And obviously it's less of an issue on an iPad. Can you read these books on Kindle? Not officially. There is a repository on GitHub that you can clone, and then you can download the books from O'Reilly in the Kindle format and download them onto your Kindle. You will just need your username and password and the book ID. But that's not a topic for this video. Let's move on. We've already talked about answers. This is just a section. If you want to learn a certain topic, just ask a question, and then it's going to show you the list of resources where you can find more information about this topic. Then you just move through all the suggestions and go pick the book that you like most. Or maybe you don't even do that. Maybe all of these summaries are enough for you. There's stuff in featured, and I have never clicked on this outside of expert playlists. An expert playlist is by people who O'Reilly considers experts. Maybe they published some books, created some courses, and they create different playlists based on certain topics. It can either be a course, it can be a book, but a lot of times it's actually just certain chapters of certain books to save you time and get you up to speed in the shortest amount of time possible. Sometimes I don't agree with these expert playlists and actually create my own. And yes, you can create your own. You also have access to early releases. I have tried that. I found that they're full of typos, and typos is the most annoying thing. So I rarely, if ever, read early releases anymore. And I have no idea what shortcuts is. Looks like 10-minute tips and tricks from O'Reilly. I've never used it. Feel free to explore. Finally, I'm gonna click on this Explore Skills section, and you can, instead of using the filter for books or videos or audiobooks, whatever, you can actually do it all from here. If you want to learn about cloud computing, AWS, then you just click here and it's gonna bring you to the place we've been to before, maybe with some additions. For example, it's also gonna show some upcoming events. It's gonna show you some books, courses, expert playlists, certifications, whatever have you. Hopefully, I've convinced you that this platform has everything that you could possibly need to become an expert in some field in technology. $500 a year is way too much money though. If we paid monthly, that would cost us $588. Thus, we're getting a $88 discount if we pay yearly. That brings us to $41.60 monthly. That's still a lot of money. And yes, it's somewhat comparable to other platforms, though a lot of them you could probably find for $29.99 or so. In my opinion, that even if you have to pay the full price, $42 a month, it is still worth it if your goal is to advance your career somehow, maybe get a better job in a different technology. And remember that you can always cancel. You can only sign up for a 3-month plan if $500 at one time is just too much for you. We saw that it was going to be $129 for 3 months or so. But there are even better options. The first option I'm going to mention is free. And that option is check with your local public library. In certain locations, you may have access to O'Reilly for free. Yes, it will have some limited functionality. For example, you may not get to the platform in the view that I showed you, but you will still have access to books, or at least the books. I am unfortunately in a location where we don't have that, but the company I work for, Amazon, is located in Seattle. What Seattle Public Library offers is a free O'Reilly subscription. You just Google your city, then public library, and O'Reilly. It's gonna tell you whether your library offers it or not. Here, as you can see, Seattle Public Library offers it. You click on it, it tells you what to do. It says sign in with your library card and start reading now. All you have to do. Depending on the library, there may be different requirements to get a library card. And I cannot show you more than that because, as I said, I don't have a Seattle library card. Let me suggest you another option which could potentially be free to you. If you're already working for a technology company, you can convince your manager to pay for this subscription. Usually, employers are interested in you learning. And believe me, $500 a year for a business is nothing if you are going to grow and potentially help them do better things faster. It might be a harder sell if you don't have a specific goal and purpose. So before you go to your manager, figure out the skills that you want to pursue and then present that to your supervisor and ask if they would be willing to reimburse you. Until I joined AWS, I never had a problem employer covering this expense for me. Unfortunately, AWS didn't pay for it because I guess they assumed that I should have access to the one from Seattle Public Library, but screw it, it's still worth it. I gotta be honest, I never paid $499 for it. And let me show you how you can shave off about $200 off the annual subscription price. What I usually do is renew my subscription around Black Friday. And what happens during Black Friday? Yes, there are deals. O'Reilly, unfortunately, doesn't typically advertise their deals, but they usually have coupons that you can Google. So what you do is you just go on the Google again and search for O'Reilly Media coupon. Depending on the time of the year you're searching this coupon in, you may have different results displayed to you. But usually you can kind of sense which of these coupons are valid or not. If I click here, it gives me a few different options. Tells me get the extra 20% off, extra 15%. What we want is save extra $200 on the misspelled individual, but that's what we want to do. You copy the code. Whenever you buy the subscription, you input this code into the coupon section on the O'Reilly website, then see if it works. And if it works, great. Now you're only paying $299 a year, which is much cheaper. And if it still doesn't work, then you wait for Black Friday. If that's too much work for you, sign up for my newsletter, and I will make sure to remind you when to buy it and what coupon to use. And I think we've covered it all. As I said earlier, O'Reilly Media subscription is worth it even at $499 a year, but if you can get it for free or with $200 off, then you absolutely should get it if you're planning to improve your skills. And this is the only educational subscription I pay for. Yes, I get access to different things from AWS, but this one is the one I actually use regularly, not only due to its huge selection of content, but also because I don't have a problem accessing it on my mobile device, where I do most of the reading. I hope this video was helpful. As I mentioned, go subscribe to my newsletter, where I will be sharing my experiences at AWS and what I have learned over the years as a developer. And see you in the next one.